Hey everyone, welcome back. AI is like the news these days, right? Every day there's something wild happening.
It really is moving so fast.
So we wanted to dive into one of these big stories, this OpenAI announcement.
Right, their new o1 AI models.
Yeah, o1. From what we've read, it seems like, well, everyone's saying this is a really big deal.
It does seem different, yeah. This isn't just a tweak like another GPT update. They're saying this is a whole different approach.
I was struck by how OpenAI is talking about these o1 models. They're using the word thinking, not just processing, but thinking.
Right, and to be honest, we've all seen AI hype before. But the early tests on this o1, they are impressive, even if you're skeptical.
So are we buying it then? Is this the real deal?
Well, let's look at the evidence, right? Remember that International Math Olympiad problem? The one GPT-4 basically bombed.
Oh, yeah. That was brutal, wasn't it?
GPT-4 had like a 13% success rate. o1.
83% success.
That difference tells you something. o1 isn't just using more data, it's figuring things out. It's reasoning.
It's funny you say that because when GPT-4 came out, I remember feeling like it was cool, but also...
The shallow.
Yes, like it knew a lot, but didn't really understand.
It's like memorizing a textbook versus actually getting the concepts.
And that's what OpenAI is saying they've solved.
It seems like it. They're being kind of cagey about the how, but they keep mentioning this thinking time built into o1. And this other source you sent, it talks about chain of thought reasoning. They call it COT.
COT. Okay, so is AI actually thinking like humans now?
Well, hold on. Not exactly like humans, but the idea behind COT is to get AI to solve problems in steps. Like, think about planning a trip. You wouldn't just instantly book a flight, right?
Definitely not. I'd spend, probably a whole day just looking at destinations, then stressing about dates.
Exactly. You break it down. First, you figure out where you want to go. Then you look at prices. Then maybe what time of year is best. COT is making o1 do that same thing, small steps, instead of trying to solve the whole problem at once.
So being smart about it instead of just throwing data at the problem.
Right, and this source is saying that's a big reason why o1 is so much more efficient than what came before.
Yeah.
It's not just how much it knows, but how it uses what it knows.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like I have a bookcase full of books, but that doesn't make me smart, right? It's whether I actually read them.
Perfect analogy. And this same source mentioned something else really interesting about o1. It seems they've separated knowledge from reasoning in how it's built.
Wait, slow down for me. Did you have coffee this morning?
Don't those two things always go together?
They do, but think of it like this. Knowledge is like having a ton of information in your head. Reasoning is what you do with it. Making decisions, solving problems, all that.
Okay, so previous AI was trying to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
No wonder it was so slow.
It's like trying to find a specific book, but you're also reorganizing the whole library at the same time.
I get it. Chaos.
Exactly. With o1, it seems like they found a way to separate those things, so it can access the information it needs without getting lost in a sea of data. So it's not just what o1 knows, but how it uses what it knows, which, honestly, that's a little unnerving when you start to really think about the implications.
That's the thing about AI, right? It's exciting, but it definitely makes you think about, well, everything.
Speaking of thinking about everything, let's talk about how this actually impacts people, because it's not just about robots solving math problems, is it? It feels like this is about how AI could actually change how we work, the tools we use, maybe even how we think about being smart, period. I mean, OpenAI mentioned healthcare physics software.
It is early, yeah. But the potential, if o1 can really reason like this, think about it. Doctors diagnosing diseases way more accurately, faster scientific discoveries, code that actually works because it's not full of bugs.
Okay, but hold on. We have to talk about the big question. Because every time it's smarter AI, there's that part of me going, is that always good, though? What about safety with this thing?
I think that's a completely valid concern. And it's something OpenAI seems to be taking, well, at least more seriously this time. In fact, they're saying o1 is actually better for safety because it can reason.
Oh, hold on. What?
Yeah.
So the same thing that makes it powerful makes it safer?
That's what they're saying. Because it can reason, it can actually understand safety rules, not just follow them blindly. Like, remember those jailbreaking tests where people try to trick AI into doing bad stuff?
Oh, right. Like getting it to say something offensive or leak information. How easy is that to do anyway?
It can be done, even with older models. But with o1, they're saying it's way harder now. The reasoning ability, it means o1 is better at knowing when it's being tricked.
So it's not just following rules, it gets why those rules are there.
Right. And in theory, that makes it a lot harder to get it to go rogue.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it plays out in the real world, of course. But it's good they're thinking this way, at least.
Way better than just trust us. It's fine, yeah. But, okay, let's say they did figure out the safety thing somehow. What's next? Where does this even go from here?
The billion-dollar question.
Yes.
All right. I don't have a crystal ball, but the speculation is pretty wild. Even OpenAI themselves, they've said more features are coming. Like o1 being able to browse the web, upload files, work with them directly, maybe even plug into other software we use.
Okay, now, that is where I start to geek out a little. Imagine AI that can not only think, but it's got access to all the information online in real time.
It's huge. And this other source you sent, it goes even further, talking about AI self-evolution. These models, they could actually start improving their own design. And maybe we move away from just bigger and bigger AI to more specialized AI.
So instead of one AI that does everything, we might have an AI that's an expert doctor, one that's a lawyer, one that, maybe not a podcast host yet.
Exactly. But then that brings up a whole other bunch of questions, right? What happens to jobs if AI can do them better than us? How do we teach kids so they can work with these specialized AIs? Exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
Daunting is the word, but also so exciting. This feels like a whole new era, and o1 is just the beginning.
I think that's a great way to put it. We're at this crossroads, and what we do now as people, as a society, that's going to decide what this future looks like.
It's a lot to process, for sure. But before we go full existential crisis here, let's take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, deep divers. We'll be back to talk more about this right after this.
And we are back. Okay, I'm not going to lie. After that last part, I'm going to need a minute to process all this.
Yeah.
AI that thinks, AI that's on the internet, AI that might be designing itself, it's a lot.
It really makes you rethink what AI even is, right? And what does it mean for us, for intelligence in general?
That's what I keep coming back to. We've always been told, knowledge is power, right? The more facts you know, the smarter you are. But o1, it's that's not enough. It's not just what you know, but how well you can actually use it. And if AI is getting to the point where it can use information better than we can, it makes you wonder about human experts, right? What happens when AI can do more than just tasks, but actually understands really complicated stuff like medicine or law?
Okay, yeah. So on the one hand, imagine that. Doctors who have AI that can help them diagnose stuff super early, lawyers who can go through mountains of paperwork in seconds.
And on the other hand, how do we even keep up? How do we teach kids to be ready for a world where AI is that good? Do we focus on things that, AI maybe can't do? Creativity. Empathy, or do we have to totally rethink school, work, everything?
We're making this up as we go along. No instructions, no map, just here's AI.
And that's what makes it exciting. We have a chance to figure out how to use this, how to make sure it's used for good.
Yeah.
To actually help people.
I like that. That's the optimism we need. It's easy to freak out, robots are taking over, but we actually have a say in this, right?
Totally. And that starts with talking about it, asking the hard questions, being informed.
Well said. And on that note of cautious optimism and talking about AI, I think we should wrap up. Big thanks to you. This has been amazing.
Anytime. I love geeking out about this stuff.
And to all you deep divers listening, thank you for coming along on this ride. Keep those brains engaged, stay curious, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.